All right, guys, so welcome to the Viral Lagos podcast, and we're still here. We're talking about brand safety and influencer marketing, and we've been talking about this for some time now. Muyiwa is still here. If you didn't watch the episode 1, you want to go back and watch the first video. We talked a lot. Muyiwa gave an introduction about himself, his career, how he started. Also, we talked about how brands position themselves and the kind of influencers that they use, and how an influencer's reputation can affect a brand's reputation, right? So we're talking about metrics and brand image, which is more important. So that's where we left off from the last episode. So back to where we were, I was talking about high-risk merchant for fintech companies, right? So these are companies that wouldn't pass what we'll say KYC, right? Compliance, right? So for every fintech company in every geographic location, there is a regulatory body that does, right? So there's some sort of compliance that they have to pass, right? So if you're not able to pass the compliance, right, you probably are a high risk company, right? So there are also markets that are high risk for fintech because of chargebacks, right? The risk of reputation as well. So sometimes you collect for some people, collect in this sense payments for some people, and it's problematic, right? So, but a lot of startups will do business with these people just to survive in the early days, right? And some will just do that for the sake of numbers. They just want the numbers, right? For instance, collecting payments for XXX sites, right? A lot of fintechs wouldn't touch those, but some people will, because there's a lot of numbers there. You get what I'm saying? So it's kind of similar to brand reputation for so who are you touching? Who are you associating your brand with? Have you been in a situation where you had to choose one, right? So you were looking and say, okay, we really need to, because if we look at it, it's easy to say I'm a big brand. I have all the customers that I just want to be able to maybe increase our footprints in international markets. Right. It's easy to say we don't want to, but when you're trying to survive, you're a brand trying to survive, and there's easy market somewhere where you can easily go as a brand and just you do some things and you get your results. Have you been in that situation when you had to choose, right?
And you're right. That dichotomy usually comes with startups where, high growth, they're expecting margins. But again, it's very important that you play the long game, even for startups, even when you're in survival mode. If it's not fit for your brand now or in the future, then there's no point doing it.
What if you die now?
then the solution is not to get cheap clicks. Right. You even when you're buying media, right? There's viewable impressions, right? You're familiar with the concept. Yeah. Because you could get those impressions, but nobody's actually seen the ad, which is why sometimes you'd say all of these more enlightened platforms, right? The Metas, the Google and co. You're actually buying VIP CPM. So it ensures that at least 50% of your ad is showing. And that counts for an impression. But there's no point getting, I'm getting 1 million impressions, but nobody's actually seeing your ad. Right? So you can't look at the numbers in isolation. You have to look at it in line with, is this good for my brand? Is this good for my consumers, right? And am I going to get the bottom line results? Whether that would take 6 months or it would take 12 months, it really, it's a matter of doing what's right for your company in the long run.
Okay. I think that's a very good response. Playing the long game. If you understand the markets and you actually know where you're headed, playing the long game just comes easy, right? I think for the next question, you sort of answered the next question already. You kind of gave us Don Jazzy and VBank as a shining example as to how an influencer can, impact a brand positively, right? And we also talked about how see Ronaldo's action with Coca-Cola affected the brand negatively, right? I mean, those are very, very, very good examples. But for the bad examples, I think we see them every day. Nobody wants to talk about them because they're quite sensitive.
Yeah.
Small businesses and enterprises can now receive borderless payments from customers anywhere in the world. Skrape is a crypto payment gateway that allows businesses to receive payments globally with cryptocurrency. Skrape allows you to collect payments on your website and app through our decentralized engine and gives you the ability to receive payments instantly into any wallet provider of your choice. You can also create a payment link and receive instant settlements, avoid long settlement cycles, and sign up on Skrape today. Join thousands of other Skrape users and begin to enjoy speedy service. Skrape is your crypto payment buddy.
I think one of the things we've not talked about is how a brand can also affect an influencer. I've done influencer marketing for quite some time, right? And I've spoken to a few influencers about a few brands, and they didn't know I'm not touching that vertical, right? And they're like, oh, but there's good money they're paying. Like, I'm not touching, but there are a lot of influencers who they don't know anything about the product. They just jump on the product and begin to advertise, right? So do you think influencers should vet properly and say, okay, there are some influencers I've spoken to this to say, I don't do ads for that vertical. And sometimes it's really annoying to me, like, because I just want to get this influencer. The brand wants this influencer.
Yeah.
It'll be easier if they said yes, so my job is done, right? But they'll tell me, I don't work for brands in this vertical. I've seen a lot. The question is, how can influencers also ensure that they do not fall victim to bad brands, because there are bad brands out there too.
Yeah. So I mentioned it, and it's like a mirror, right? The brand and the influencer, the same three pillars. They need to look at it. Is this brand, now the influencer is asking, is this brand good for me? Do we have shared values, right? My audience, do I want to show this brand to my audience, right? And that needs to happen for the influencer as much as for the brand. So if you have that synergy, if everything is in sync, my audience, the brand's audience, the brand's values and my values are in sync, then I can work with the brand. The influencer that you talked about, probably one of those things do not align. That I don't have the same values with this company, so I don't want to work with this company. Right?
Yeah. So if I should narrow it down, there's a lot of talk about how Big Brother contestants just jump on brands. I'm not going to mention any name. Since somebody was talking about it was it on TV or on Instagram? I can't remember where, but they're going on vehemently. This Big Brother. They even mentioned names. And I said, listen, this is how these guys make money, right? So they make money by representing brands, and I understand that a lot of them do not have the education and the exposure to say we have to vet, right? But in reality, these guys make money solely from brands. That's the truth. Brands really are the people. There are all that situations where some are lucky to maybe get married, or some are lucky to do business, right? But from experience, they make money. They're actually selling media, basically. That's what they do. But I think there needs to be some sort of education. You need to understand that playing the long game, right, is very important. If you play your marketing game like that, it's easier to make decisions that are not very, very quick, right? So how would you say? So if you want to give resources out to a marketer looking to hire an influencer, right? So we said that have a long-term goal. And so is there any way you can see they can go about the play?
Yeah. So usually brands would have their campaign objectives. It's usually clear. The audience, what success would look like, right? It's very clear, both in terms of quantitative numbers as well as whatever soft outcomes to it. It's usually very clear. Now, when they communicate that with an influencer, the influencer's job is to understand what the brand is trying to achieve, see the connection with the audience of the brand as well as their audience. Like you said, really what they're selling is media.
Yeah.
And be able to take the brand's message and push it to their audience in a way that their audience are used to receiving information or communication from the influencer. And there are several ways to get started with that. There are several media, there are several tools for both brands and the influencer themselves to work. Again, I would mention the ones that I can mention. So at Publicis, we have an influencer marketing tool. It's called Fluency.
Okay.
It allows you to search for influencers across the region, across languages, across platforms, to say that, is this influencer fit for my brand, for the message that I want to pass across? Where do they have audience? What are their audience like? What are the audience passion, interests? Oh, this influencer has audience that likes football, that likes music. So as a brand, if that is kind of where I'm playing, then I can see connection within that. You can also see the followers and all that stuff, all engagement rates and all that. The things that matter to a brand manager to make that decision. So really that's where it comes into play and comes to life. It's important, however, to start like you said, play the long game, let the objectives be clear. Use the media that are available to you, use the tools that are available to you. I'm sure you're going to talk more about tools, right?
Yeah, so yes, tools are really important, right? But one of the things that is clear is, like he said, strategy, understanding what you want to do long term, right? Then I think engaging an agency that understands the market is really key as well. So you're an agency, so you are the guys they go to, right? For that. So the agencies are the ones who really will narrow down and use those tools, right, to ensure that the campaign is well run from the beginning, from the time you're selecting the influencers. And so most of this, the guys in the agency, they know the influencers that will disappoint you, right? They know the influencers that will deliver on time as well, right? And they know the influencers that will buy metrics. A lot of them do that, some, not a lot of them, right? Also the tools, like you mentioned, Fluency is a very good tool. I wouldn't mention any other tool, right? But but there are a few tools that we've used in the past. So we're going to add some of those tools on the description of this video, right? You're going to see some of these tools. I'm going to see links to those tools as well that you could use if you're running a campaign. So it's been like a very interesting conversation with Muyiwa. So far we've had and talked about positioning your brand values, right? And we've talked about the long term play, right? The playing long term. And we've talked about a few other interesting things, and it's been really, really, really refreshing for me. So I want to say thank you for coming on. It was really great chatting with you, and it was really refreshing, and I've learned a lot talking to you as well. I think this is a great video to share and a great video to like, and this is a great channel to subscribe to. So till I see you again, have an amazing one. So maybe you have any word for?
Just ensure that you followed our page, ensure that you subscribe so that you could get notified when there are new content. It's really been a pleasure to be here. Let's do this again.
All right, thank you so much, Muyiwa.